There is no evidence to back up the claims made within it. There is no evidence that the deity spoken of within enacted any miracles. There is no evidence that the Earth is as young as 6,000 years old. There is no evidence of a global flood. And there is no evidence of people being brought back to life after being dead for 3 days. And since you cannot substantiate your claims, you have no business asking how dare he exclude the possibility that God created the universe. That statement can also be too easily expressed as, how dare you exclude the possibility that Vishnu created the universe. They all have equal amounts of evidence as the Judeo-Christian belief system and can therefore be treated equally. As Christopher Hitchens said it himself, any claim made without evidence can be dismissed, again without evidence. The possibility that the universe is a naturally occurring phenomenon is a lot more plausible given the evidence that the idea that some all-knowing deistic entity did it just for one species called humans. As to the beginning of the universe, the Big Bang does not describe the beginning of the universe, merely its current state. Furthermore, time and space are intertwined. At the zero-space singularity there was no time, so there was no before the Big Bang. After all, how can you go further north than the North Pole? How can you go to a before time itself? You can't. It's logically impossible. I'm skipping the preachy bit of the video as we've all heard it before. It also includes a non sequitur about if there was a beginning, then there must have been a God to initiate it all. Again, this does not logically follow and is not supported by the evidence. Moving on.
We just need to think outside your little naturalistic box.
Naturalistic box? So, again, believing things to be absolutely true when the evidence contradicts those things is a good thing. Is it, Sean? I think we need a reminder here. Thunderfoot's clip follows.
Why bore ourselves with the little sandbox of reality when we can expand our remit to the world of comfortable delusional fantasy? I know. Let's believe, for instance, that this creationist is actually a stupidity mirage, caused by Jabba the Hutt eating too many psychedelic stupidity frogs who have been gorged on concentrated hallucinogenic stupidity flies, luxuriously soaked in stupidity juices until they were juicy and succulent. After all, why labour your mind with such trivial practicalities as reality when you can simply embark on a flight of fantasy and believe in anything? I'll tell you why. Because it saves lives, because it alleviates suffering, because it makes people's lives better. Point in question, take HIV protease. You're now on the forefront of AIDS research. Inhibiting this enzyme could save tens of thousands, maybe even millions of lives. Designing an inhibitor is contingent on the union of several fields of research involving quantum chemistry, molecular dynamics simulations, biological identification of substrate and insight into possible inhibitors, testing mutant enzymes and of course double-blind clinical trials. It's your call, PCS. What do you choose to do?
I think that says it all, don't you?
Thing that we live in. How did it get here?
Well, we live in a universe.
The word universe comes from two words, uni, which means singular, and verse, meaning a spoken sentence. Indeed, we do live in a universe. You see, God spoke. He said, "Let there be," and there was. I'm glad that you would believe that.
The universe is a single spoken sentence. Curiously, this is a Hovind argument, almost word for word. See for yourself.
Hey, did you know the word universe comes from two Latin words, uni, which means single, and verse means a spoken sentence? We live in a universe, a single spoken sentence. You see, God said, "Let there be."
The statement that the word universe means a single spoken sentence is also categorically incorrect. Here's where it really comes from. The word universe is derived from the old French word univers, which was derived from the Latin word universum. The word universum is derived from the poetic contraction univorsum, which was first used by Lucretius in Book 4 of De Rerum Natura. Univorsum connects un from unus, meaning one, and vorsum from vertere, meaning something rotated, rolled, or changed. Two interpretations can be gained from this. 1. Everything combined into one, i.e. the cosmos. Or 2. Everything rotated as one, which can be considered a translation of the Greek version of a universe. So now that we've done away with this blatant Hovindism, we can move on.
I don't know.
So you don't know how it began, and you don't know if it's eternal.
It's unknown.
To you.
It's unknown to me.
Well, yes, it's an unknown to you, which means you're not an authority on the issue.
It's ironic that you claim that Thunderfoot is not an authority on the issue when you're not an authority either. It's also an unknown to you, Sean, because you too also do not know despite your claims otherwise. You cannot know, because you have no evidence. Your book might tell you that God created the universe, but that book does not have any evidence to back it up. And just to repeat myself again, any claim made without evidence can be dismissed without evidence.
Now let's face it, whatever made us, okay, if something is made, then it is made for the reason that it is made. And if you don't know that reason, well then, how are you going to be able to figure out what you're doing here or be able to guide others and help others? Because frankly, you don't know the meaning of life. And I'm going to illustrate that using your own words.
Correction. Thunderfoot does not know the meaning of your life. That's up to you. However, he does know the meaning of his own life, and it's far more noble a goal than the one you lead, with your continuous sowing of disinformation and trying to make claims against the scientific method and observational reality just because it contradicts the religion that you are now a member of. And as for showing Thunderfoot with his own words, you're well known for engaging in quote mining yourself. In the sidebar of this video is a link to the 4 debate series in which Thunderfoot very calmly addresses Ray Comfort's arguments and fallacies. Let's move on.
Question. Do you believe that the universe is simply as we perceive it?
Do you?
Sean, I don't know why you have to be so childish about this. The question was perfectly valid for him to ask. If
you have but just this is.
Okay, listen. I don't want to make fun of the guy.
You just did, Sean, and you're well known for it.
Can you ever find me saying the things that the atheists have been saying to me back to them? Calling them all kinds of names and things? It's not just scary because you're really vile and angry and mean, but also because you have no morals and that you want to inspire other people to follow you, and you are basically a little Hitler. You'll never see that for me. I'm not going to apologize for making fun of you, even though that's not the intention of my video right now, even though I've been doing a good job. It's just, you make it so easy, man, come on now, but we'll never hear that from the other side because they don't uphold Christian values. Christian values, which are from God himself. And that's why you know they're ungodly. Because our message of love, they have no love in them.
So, why doesn't God heal amputees? Because they don't deserve their arms. We deserve to die. That's what the Bible teaches. Sorry if you don't like that.
We'll never hear that from the other side because they don't uphold Christian values.
Why are there so many starving people in the world? Once again, where in the Bible does it say God needs to feed all the fallen, sinful people?
Some people say I preach a message of hatred. So tell me this. Again, my message is the Bible is true.
So, the Sabbath was one law, which was a weekly law in order for Israel to reflect on God, remember God, to be obedient to God. Anyone who disobeyed it, killed immediately.
Thunderfoot, if you're watching this, I'm sure you're a nice guy and a well-meaning guy. Here's my problem. Your entire shtick here on YouTube, ever since you've gotten here, is to make fun and ridicule people like me.
When you make statements like the Grand Canyon being formed in 5 minutes, that radioactive decay can be sped up by a factor of 1 billion, and when you ridicule the observational reality that the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, you invite ridicule in kind. I'm sorry that you feel so weak and thin-skinned that you cannot accept what you yourself dish out, Sean, but that doesn't take away their right to express themselves. Censorship may be your bag, but you don't have the right to impose it on anyone else.